Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It's Monday, it's 9 o'clock, it's another video. And for anyone who's watched any of my videos over the weekend, you know I was feeling under the weather. I've started to feel better today. So thank you for everybody who's been super nice and made really nice comments about, hey, you should be in bed, blah, blah, blah. I really appreciate it. Now, I've kind of... I was going to have a 5x5 go up tonight, and we're going to get back to that next week. I promise you, next week we'll get back to the 5x5. However, I wanted to talk to you today about a particular thing that I've seen happening an awful lot on Facebook groups and to a lesser and greater extent on YouTube channels and also on the Magic Cafe. And I think it's something that might affect newer magicians. Now, I'm going to use an example of something that I saw on Unbiased Magic Reviews to give you guys some context. But this is not about David from Unbiased Magic Reviews at all. I'm not taking a shot at him. It's just he's got a very similar opinion to a lot of people that I want to talk about. And most recently, I saw him make this opinion on his video that he made about Lloyd. So one of the comments, a few people went back and forth, and somebody was talking to him about live performances and blah, 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 blah. And David made a comment saying, why don't you show me some performances of other Magic reviewers, and hopefully not any with the magician doing the hideous pull-up on the back of the on the back of the card, get ready to do a double lift. And I actually then posted on there and said, hey, why are you taking a cheap shot at me? Yes, I may have used that move in the past, but it works in the real world all the time. And David said, hey, I've no idea why you think I'm making that comment to you. I've seen you perform in the real world all the time. And he said, sorry if you feel attacked, I wasn't referring to you. And publicly, I want to say sorry to David. You know, I did think he was aiming that at me because that is the technique I've used in the past. And, very, very sorry, David. I didn't mean... I jumped the gun. I was not feeling very well when I saw that post, and I shouldn't have made that thing, so I'm really sorry. And this is not about David. It's really not. The point is, that's a great example of seeing something that I'm seeing all of the time in Facebook groups, all over Facebook, which is people, I don't want to say attacking because it's not, David wasn't really attacking anyone there, but I've seen people post in Facebook groups attacking somebody who's put a video up in that Facebook group, like basically just calling them out for having terrible technique. I was watching, I think it was a couple of weeks ago now, I was skirting around Facebook and I ended up in a Facebook group and I saw someone post a video of them performing in a real world situation, or real world. They were on the streets and they were doing it to a couple of people. And they were getting really good reactions. The engagement with the people who were performing to was really good, and the trick was good. I can't remember exactly what it was. And there was this particular person, and I can't remember the guy's name. I tried to find it and I couldn't. But there was a particular person on there that said, hey, you should be embarrassed of yourself. You've got the worst technique I've ever seen. You're a laughing stock. It's people like you that give magic bad. Make magic look bad to the lay people. And I've seen variations of that in the past as well, many, many times. Like when David posted there, he wasn't posting about me, but he was saying, hey, show me performances of reviewers performing in the real world, and don't show me a performance of the pulling up on the back of the card technique because, that's laughable. And David's attitude there is the same as a lot of people's attitude in Magic. I've even heard people say that bad technique is more kind of a serious problem for Magic than exposure, because magicians are going out and exposing Magic through bad technique. And that's why I wanted to talk about today. And this is going to be a very short video. But... let me talk about myself for a second, because that's a technique. Now, what they're talking about, what David's talking about there and what other people are talking about, and that's just one example. There's a lot of other examples, is when you've got a deck of cards, I'm going to use a deck of cards here for an example, and you're going to get a double lift. A lot of people will lift up at the back to get a break with the thumb. They'll lift up at the back to get that break. And there's more elegant means of doing that. Now, for years, like right up until probably last year, that's the technique that I used to get a break in the real world, because I could literally just come over and just lift up and I could get the break and nobody would see anything. These days, mainly because of Nemid Phoenix teaching me, I tend to use a strike double because the strike double, and I'm still not brilliant at it, but I'm not really concentrating. I tend to use a strike double, there you go, because it does look better a little bit, although there's not really that much to it. But there's lots of techniques you can use to get that break. If you don't want to do a strike double, you can do a push-off double. You can do a pinky count or a thumb count or whatever the case may be. The point is, I have seen so many people criticize live performances for getting that break at the back with their thumb. And Ryland doesn't do that many card tricks, but he does that. Like, he gets a break with his thumb at the back because he's new to card magic and, he doesn't know better. Although, to be honest, I don't see really too much of an issue with it. But he gets that break. And a lot of new people into magic get the break like that. And a lot of people that have been in magic for a long time get the break like that. And that's one example of people criticizing bad technique, but I've seen a million examples. And the problem is, what we're doing by doing that is we're putting people off from actually going out and performing to real people. And I think that's the biggest issue within this community. The biggest issue with this community is not building people up. The amount of times I see people in Facebook groups wanting to come across as the big I am, and look at me, I've been doing this for a long time. I have more experience and knowledge than anybody in this field. I will criticize you and in all reality, the people that do that a lot of the time are the people that aren't posting videos themselves. A lot of the time, the people that post saying, oh, your technique's really bad. Oh, you've got the worst Erdnase change in the world. Oh, you've got a terrible double lift, whatever the case may be. They're the people that aren't actually ever putting any videos up. They stand on their mountain with all of their theoretical knowledge and tell people who have got the guts to go out and do this in the real world, video themselves, and then have the courage to put those videos up online for their peers to see. They have the courage to do that. And all of these, self-proclaimed experts, what they do is they shoot you down in flames and make you feel bad about yourself just so they can feel better about themselves. And I see it happening over and over again. I don't see constructive criticism these days. There's two issues with this. And the first issue is the most important part of performing in the real world is actually learning how to perform. It's not about doing flawless technique. I'll tell you right now, I have been at multi-man gigs with magicians who are considered some of the best technicians in the world. I have been to gigs with them and I have watched them, and they have died on their arse because you put them into a situation where it's loud and it's noisy and there's banquet and there's waiters and there's a disco and all of this stuff. You put them into that situation, what's going to happen is it's just going to end up laughable. They end up like walking up to a table, performing to 2 or 3 people. They can't project themselves. Yeah, they may have flawless technique, but they don't know how to perform. The problem is most magicians don't know how to perform because what they do is they spend days and hours and weeks and months studying technique and reading magic books and reading, watching magic DVDs and magic downloads and rushing out to buy the latest trick so they can come across as all powerful and all knowing. But in reality, they'll spend no time learning how to actually perform to people, how to make a connection with people, how to actually get people to like them, how to go up to a group of people, learning about stage management and staging and projecting yourself on stage that you can then carry over into a close-up environment. They never learn anything like that. And they stand on their ivory tower and tell people that they're doing their tricks badly. And they're not actually looking at the reactions that people are getting in their videos. I get it all of the time. I have a small vocal minority of people who hate me and will run around telling me I'm the worst magician in the world and I'm a terrible person. I've discussed this before, I don't really care. But those same people will say, oh, you're a bad performer, you're a bad technician, oh, it's laughable, you're magic. And you know what? If I was the sort of person that didn't have an ego the size of a planet, then I would take that to heart and that would make me feel really bad about myself. Luckily, I don't care because I've got a client list a mile long. There is not a single person in the UK that books as many gigs as me. There's not a single person in the UK that I would say performs as much and as regularly as I do. Am I the best magician in the world? No, not by any stretch of the imagination. But I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good. And I know, ask any company that I've worked for, whether it be Penguin or Murphy's, ask them if they can think of many people that can go to a shoot with a trick that they're needing to get live performances for a project, and they can get the reactions that I can. The answer is normally no, because I can go into any environment in any country, anywhere in the world, and I can take any trick and I can get insane, incredible reactions, which is why a lot of companies want to work for me. And it's not because I've got the best technique in the world, because I haven't, because up until a year ago, that's how I got my double lift. And to be honest, still now, if I'm at a gig and I'm surrounded by people, even though I've learned how to do the strike double, I'm going to be doing that as well, because I know it's a secure method that I've done for 30 years that's going to get me that break. Does that make me a bad performer? Well, to the people that would say, yes, that makes me a bad performer, then they're not listening to my client base. They're not listening to the people that actually book me and then book me again and again and again. Now, this isn't about me, but the point I'm trying to say is that there are new people coming into magic all of the time. And when you're new and you're coming into magic, you get excited and you want to learn absolutely everything. And a lot of the time, because of how the industry works these days, it's very easy to share videos online. It's very easy to share videos online, either onto your own social media or onto a Facebook group or something like that, and show people exactly what you're doing. And if you are experienced enough to turn around to people and say, you've got a bad double lift, it's laughable. Like the example is like David did, show me a reviewer that can perform in the real world, and don't show me that performer pulling up at the back to get a break. That's laughable. That's not the right attitude to take if we're wanting to build people up, because A, it's going to stop them performing in the real world, and there is no substitute for flight time. You go and perform in the real world, you're going to get better. You're going to get better. You're going to get better. And the only way to get better is not to sit there perfecting your technique, but going out and performing for real people, right? Ultimately, that's what it is. If, Ryland gets a chance to perform a lot for real people, thanks to Russ Brown at the House of Secrets, thanks to the fact that his dad runs an entertainment company and has the contract with places like Drayton Manor. He gets a chance to go out and perform a lot, and he gets a chance to go out and get better at his craft. But if I shot him down in flames every single time I saw him do something that I didn't think was very good, my God, he'd never go out and perform, or his confidence would go downhill. And that's the same for anybody. What we should be doing as an industry is building people up. When you see a video on Facebook and somebody's posted it into Magicians Only or whatever one of these groups is, EDC Magic or whatever, when somebody posts a video into one of those groups, don't be the person that goes into that group and uses it as an opportunity to put that person down. Don't be the person that uses it as an opportunity to build themselves up and go, well, yeah, that's not bad, but I do a better double lift than you'd ever do. Or, yes, that's very good, but I use this version, which is 100 times better. Or, why did you do that? That's not very good. Why don't you make some positive comments about what they've done? Well, you know what? The audience really obviously enjoyed that. You're a great performer. And if you want to give them some advice, that's fine, but do it in the right way. Because I've spoken to people on my channel that have left magic and they've come back into magic, finding my channel. And the reason they've come back into magic, or the reason they left in the first place, was because they felt really bad about themselves, because they never thought they would be able to get anywhere in this industry as a hobby. People come in, excuse me, they learn magic and they find it's an amazing hobby and they're buying trick after trick after trick. And then what happens is they get to a point where they want to show people this magic and they do it online and on videos and so on and so forth. And I've seen magicians or people within this industry that have left the community. I've spoken to them myself, and the reason they left is because they never thought they were going to be as good as this person. They never thought they were going to be as good as this person. Every single time they post a video, they get squashed down. And you know, those people could have been the next Shin Lim. Those people could have been the next Greg Wilson, the next Jay Sankey, but they don't get an opportunity to, because as an industry, we're not building them up. The bottom line is, in 2023, this community has gone from magic clubs, and although there are still magic clubs out there, it's moved a lot online. Online is accessible. I can session with anybody all over the world within seconds. That's wonderful and that's great. But it means that we, more experienced magicians, anybody that's watching this that's more an experienced magician, you have a responsibility. You have a responsibility to try and build people up. Now, I know what you're saying. You're saying, well, Craig, you do a review show and you trash tricks and you tell people their tricks are really bad. Yes, I do. Because there is a world of difference between marketing a trick and putting it out there and asking for money in return, and it's a terrible trick, as opposed to putting a video in a Facebook group and asking for advice and opinion on whether it's any good or not. It just frustrates me. And I saw that comment by David and it did trigger me. And part of the reason is it triggered me because I was ill. Part of the reason is I was expecting him to make a pop at me. And as I say, I categorically apologize. He wasn't aiming at me, but he could have been aiming at me, because for my entire career, that is how I've got a double lift. And he said, hey, you know, don't show me a video of performers doing that in the real world. It's laughable. You know, what if somebody reads that? They respect David. He's a very knowledgeable magician. He knows a hell of a lot. They like his content. They like what he puts out. And they read it and they go, oh my gosh, he's going to think I'm laughable because that's the technique I use. My message to everybody that has a double lift like that is, don't let people who think they're better than ever. And again, I have to be very careful. I'm not talking about David. I use David's comment as an example, but there's a lot of people that have said things far worse than David. If you've ever had a comment about how bad your double lift is, if you've ever had a comment about how bad your classic palm is, if you've ever had a comment about how bad a technique is that you've been practicing, and you take that to heart, and it causes you to second guess whether you should even be doing magic in the first place or whether you should be going out and performing, don't let it get to you. Because some of the best magicians in the world are people that have got not the best technique in the world. Hell, you know, I remember David Roth lecture many, many years ago, and David Roth saying, do you know why magicians in old days carried a magic wand, like you see them in Discovery of Witchcraft holding a magic wand? Do you know why? It's because they had very bad technique, and holding a magic wand helped them make their hand look more natural when they were holding something out in their hand. You know, don't let somebody make you feel bad about yourself because they think that what you're doing isn't as good as it's meant to be. Understand this, and I hope that people are listening to this. If you've ever had somebody make you feel bad about yourself, if you've ever had anybody, you know, you've posted a video or if you've ever felt bad that people seem to be doing things so much better than you and you never think you're going to get better or whatever it may be, anybody like that, understand two things. Number one, magic is a hobby that's meant to be fun. You got to enjoy it, okay? Don't let people make you feel bad about yourself. You know, it takes a long time to get perfect at anything. It takes a long time. It doesn't mean that it has to be perfect before you go out and perform, because magic is a performance art. As much fun as you have practicing this stuff in your bedroom, as much fun as you have taking videos of yourself and uploading them to TikTok or Instagram or Facebook, you will have 1,000 times more fun going out and performing this stuff to real people in a real world environment. Go out and perform it to people. Go around a friend's house. And don't worry about your technique. Don't worry about what tricks you're going to do. Put a couple of your favorite tricks in your pocket and go out and perform it for them. Go out and perform to real people. Go down the pub or the bar and show your mates. Go to work and show your friends at work. Go to a family member's house. Go down the street, bump into someone in the street and show them a magic trick. You know what? When magic is done right, it's going to make their day. The amount of people that I've shown a trick to and they've turned around to me and they've said, oh, that's amazing. It's made my day. It can make your day as well. It really can if you don't listen to the negativity. You've probably watched videos of mine. You've probably seen my name come up in Facebook groups. You've probably seen my name come up on other YouTube channels. You've probably seen my name come up all over the place. Honestly, nobody gets more online hate than me. I doubt many people get as many. There's probably somebody out there, but there's very few people that get as much online hate as me. There's very few comments that are designed. Yeah, I get loads of comments that are designed to make me feel bad about myself. I could show you messages. I could show you text messages, Facebook messages, WhatsApp messages, talking about how I'm the worst person in the world. I've got the worst technique. I'm a terrible magician. I'm a terrible performer. I've had people tell me my entire career, I don't belong. I've had people tell me I shouldn't be a creator. I've had people tell me I shouldn't be a magician. I've had people tell me I have no business performing. I've had people tell me I'm a bully and I'm not a nice person. Trust me, it makes no difference. Yeah, I perform at hundreds of events every single year. I book thousands and thousands of events in. I'm the creator of the year 2 years in a row. I've had best-selling products with every single major magic company. And I tell you this not to brag, but to tell you that the success that you achieve within this industry is not based on what other people think of you. The success that you achieve in this industry is not based on whether this one person in this Facebook group deems you as not a good performer or says that you have a bad double lift. The success that you achieve in this industry is based on your own personal measurements. How do you measure success? What does success mean to you? It might just mean that you get to go out and perform to people and do a good job. It might mean that eventually you want to become a professional magician or a creator, or it might mean that you want to book lots more gigs in. It makes no difference. If you want to achieve something in this industry, if you want to achieve something anywhere, anytime, then my advice to anybody who's watching this is try to cancel out the negativity. If people are telling you that you're not very good at something, just keep going. Because honestly, the people that are telling you and take time to tell you that you're not very good, the people who spend time and energy posting massive long posts about how you can't succeed and your double lift is the worst double lift in the world and anything else, they're the people that feel bad about themselves. They feel bad about where they are in life and they want to try and push that onto you and bring you down as well. Don't let them. Magic is an amazing hobby and it's a fun industry to be part of. And I'm telling you right now, 98% of this community is amazing. 98% of this community is wonderful. You go to a magic convention, you're going to meet some fantastic people. You go online, you're going to meet some fantastic people. But honestly, the bottom line is you're going to meet some assholes as well. That's just par for the course. It is what it is. Don't let them impact your negativity. Don't let them impact you negatively. Sorry. Don't let them impact you negatively. Stay positive. And remember why you got into magic in the first place, right? Why did you become a magician? And don't let anyone tell you you're not a magician, by the way. You are. If you're in this industry, if you know one trick, you're a magician. It doesn't matter if that guy thinks that you've got a double lift that's laughable. It doesn't matter if that guy thinks that you don't have very good magic. It doesn't matter. It makes no difference. If you're in this industry and you love magic, even close to how much I love magic, then you are a magician. And if you are a magician, ask yourself a question. Why did you get into magic in the first place? Think back for all of those people, and I get this all the time on my channel. I get people going, I don't want to practice anymore. I'm feeling down, or I feel like I'm leaving magic. I just haven't got the bug anymore. You know, I used to be really excited about doing this stuff, and now I'm not excited anymore. For anybody who feels that way, think back to when you first became a magician and you first got into this community. What did you love about magic? What was fun about it? Was it learning new tricks? Was it watching new tricks? Was it finding out all these different secrets? Was it the thought that you could go and perform and do the same stuff that you've seen people on TV do? What was it? Because if you ever feel down, if you ever feel upset, if you ever feel like leaving this industry, just recapture that. And remember, I said it before, I'm going to say it again. Magic is fun. It's fun. It's a fun thing to do. And sometimes we have to take a step back to remember that. So my message for today's video, and I really wanted to do this today, it's why I've pushed the 5x5 back to next week. My message to today is anybody who's ever felt personally attacked because somebody has made a negative comment online, in a Facebook group, on an Instagram post, in a YouTube comment, on the Magic Cafe, in a review, whatever it may be, don't let that stop you. Don't let that stop you learning. Don't let that stop you practicing. Don't let that stop you performing. Don't let that stop you creating. Don't let that stop you being you, because honestly, the only person that can ever stop you being successful in this community is you. And don't let anyone else try to push you away. Look, I've had a lot of messages about stuff like this, which is why I wanted to make this video. And trust me, I've wanted to quit so many times. I've wanted to quit so many times, and I never have. You don't have to quit. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. We've got a lot of content this week on Magic TV. We've got some amazing stuff coming up, including episode 2 of the Matchumentary. So guys, you want to see more videos like this, like the video, subscribe to the channel. You want to be mentored by me personally, go check out the Netrix, www.thenetrix.com. I'll see you again soon. My name's Craig from Magic TV.